Alright, so when I first picked up Age of Sigmar, Realms of Ruin, whatever the frick the rest of the game's name is, because it's a very long list, whatever the frick the whole thing is, it's so many words. Anyways, when I picked up the game, bro, from the very beginning, I could not stand the freaking gameplay loop. Well, kind of. The gameplay loop was mostly okay. I was a little bit questioning of it at first, but what really pissed me off were the movement controls of this game. Now, the abilities and the units, they're pretty cool for the large part. I actually kind of like it. There's enough variability and dynamics and tensions with the way that the units are made. And also, by the way, there's this kind of interesting element of how some of the factions have similar units, and those units, right, like certain factions have sniper units, for instance, but other units are not snipers in other factions, specifically two factions. You kind of have factions that are more or less like swarming factions, low-key. By the way, there's only 4 factions. The game feels very bare bones. It only has like 8 or 9 maps, and when I picked it up, by the way, nobody was playing multiplayer. So I guess the game's dead, and the only people playing now are playing single player, so whatever. But I did find Age of Sigmar, Realms of Ruin. I did find this game interesting. I did find it fun the more I played it. At first, I was infuriated. At first, I could not stand the freaking movement system, and I still can't. I think the game was made for PC, not for freaking console, but I kept pushing myself to play the game because I wanted to like the game. And once I kept on pushing myself, for myself personally, I figured out a way to start playing the game in a way that I liked. And as a single player experience, I actually enjoyed it. And I ended up playing the game for a few hours longer than I ever intended to play it for. So that was really good by the end of it all. The game, does it have a story? It has a story mode. I didn't play it. But the game, when you play skirmish mode or whatever, you play the other game modes. And by the way, you only have 1v1 and 2v2. That's it. Okay. I mean, again, it's kind of disappointing, but the game's fun enough for what it is. It's a fun little mini game of a game, but my issue is that I could honestly see myself playing it for a lot longer than I already have. And by the way, I picked it up when it was a demo, or it was a free trial, and you were kind of playing it as a slight demo, but you could play the full game. So I played some of the game modes. It's okay. The game's really not that impressive. It doesn't scratch the itch of like an RTS genre kind of game. But as like a little mini game, let's say you had to spend $20 for this game. I think it would be worth it. And if it is $20, then it would be worth your time, for one. And for two, it's actually enjoyable. Seriously, man, I would definitely pick up this game if it were $20. You know, you pick it up here and there, you just play it like a little mini game. And Realms of Ruin is decently fun. And again, I figured out a way how to play with the movement system that infuriates the living daylights out of me. I figured out a way how to play it without being completely pissed off. So, but again, I like the units. I like the research tree is kind of confusing at first. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. Man, the game really reeks like it's made for PC because it came out on PC first, but it was alright. I enjoyed it for what it was. The research was largely okay. Once you start understanding it, it makes the game more enjoyable because there's some interesting research options you can get for your factions. And dude, the late game research is cool in this game. I actually enjoy a lot of it, and a lot of the late game units are really cool. Now here's the issue. Most of the time, you're never making it to late game because the game is kind of designed like a really fast, I guess, Clash Royale kind of, you know, the app game, which is made in lieu of Clash of Clans. Anyway, the game as kind of like a Clash Royale light game. It's fun for what it is. I enjoyed it. And again, if this game were $20, it's worthwhile buying. You can pick it up here and there, play it as a little mini game. That would be perfectly fine. If you have friends to play the game with, I would say it would actually be fun to play with friends in the game. Again, the late game options are really cool. Are you going to get to late game, or are you even going to spend much time in late game? The answer is no. Typically, your late game options, you're going to experience it for like 1 minute or something, or even less. So unless you really drag out your games, which maybe in multiplayer, I could see that the games would go for longer. So then you would actually get to see these cool late game content to the game. Regardless though, after playing though Age of Sigmar, Realms of Ruin, I hate saying the whole name, frickin' A, but ever since playing this game, bro, I was playing it and I was like, it would be so cool. And I don't know if Dawn of War is basically like this. I never played that game. I don't know if it's Warhammer or not. I don't remember. But it would be so cool if we actually got a legitimate Warhammer RTS game. I would actually love it. Make it like Halo Wars 2. Make it like Stellaris. Make it like, what's another good game? Age of Empires. Or even Age of Wonders, although that's a little bit more questionable, but you know that even that could work a little bit, depending on the way they go about it. But I would prefer Age of Empires, Halo Wars 2, or Stellaris style of gameplay. Dude, if they did that with a Warhammer product, and it was a legitimate title, and they added a lot of new content here and there, like they do for Age of Empires, for instance, I would love a game like that. And that's really what this game did for me. Like, after playing Age of Sigmar, Realms of Ruin, it dawned upon me that if they actually made a legitimate RTS game for this franchise and for this property, then, bro, freaking a Warhammer RTS? Dude, that would be so much fun. Regardless of that fact, I think this game, it came out as $40 or $50 or $60. I forget which one it came out as. The game's overpriced, absolutely. It's not worth purchasing. What you should be doing, again, is wait for it to go on sale. If it's $20, I would pick it up because, again, the game was made as a freaking mini game. Let's face it, it's lacking content, and for that very one, by the way, not only for that very one reason, but also the gameplay is a little bit frustrating to get used to. But if you were purchasing this for $20 and you would go through, especially on console, I think on PC it's perfectly fine as far as I understand, then again, I would just tell you, yeah, pick it up. It's fun. If it's $20, pick it up. It's fun for that price point. And one last time, the late game, bro, it's freaking cool. The units and the spells, or whatever the abilities are at late game, freaking cool stuff. I actually really enjoyed using it, and it was awesome to look at. Again, please give us a freaking Warhammer RTS. Freaking please.